doing? Hope you are doing good. Just give me one sec. Lots to get through today. Harry has been an absolute star in Ukraine, bringing some much needed attention there and being shown so much love, by the way. Like, truly, the way Harry is received in Ukraine. And you know what? It's the marker of someone who hasn't just shown up to take pictures, who's shown up to bring something. That's really what I see here. And you can just see the respect that he has from everyone. Truly. Very heartwarming. And doing some very important work. And we're going to get into all of that today, along with some other stories. So hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button, folks. And we will get into it. Did anybody order some as ever Mother's Day goodies? See who's in the chat already. Hey Paulette, hey Emma, hey Tara, Martine, Janice, Wendy, hey Lottie. Hey, hey, Caroline, straight in at the beginning. Hey, Gary Roberts. Always interesting to see who comes in at different times. Yes, Harry is the absolute best. Echo Bella, you ordered the chocolates. Nice. I can't wait for her to do international shipping. Like, I know people have been doing the forward shipping thing, but it's expensive. It's not cheap. Right, let me just get my ish together on the back end and then we will get started. There were these pictures that were on, I think it was from a video, like a background video on Meghan's new AI fashion account. And these have not been seen before. I don't believe these have been seen before. So people were wondering, what were these from? What shoot were these from? Do we have any guesses? Because I don't believe I've seen these before. Now, someone said in the comment section, maybe these are behind the scenes shoots for a new podcast. Could be. Or some kind of editorial. In one of them, I think she's holding like a cup of coffee or something. Hair back like she means business. So any guesses as to what these could be for? What else has Meghan got going on? Also, what did I want to just touch on before we got into the nitty-gritty? Okay, nothing actually. So let's get into it, shall we? Harry in Ukraine. Day 2. He did some work with the Halo Trust, following in the footsteps of his mother. There are parts of the battlefront where they have been laying mines, and he showed some of the demining efforts. So let's have a look at some videos. These are from the Halo Trust.
It's fantastic to be here in Ukraine to see how the Halo Trust is relying on modern technologies, robots, AI, drones, to speed up the process for demining and finding munitions that are scattered all over this country. Back in the day, nearly 30 years ago when my mother was in Angola, Halo Trust were on hands and knees clearing landmines, but the improvements and the ability to clear minefields faster is extraordinary. So the technology is very, very impressive. To all the donors and funders out there, please continue to support Halo Trust so that we can get more drones and clear these spaces so they can be safe for Ukrainians to enjoy.
And what a difference time makes, because back in the Diana days we didn't have all these drones, robots. You can see the dog robots that they're using there. Typically for the demining, actually they use the special hero rats that they train to sniff out the bombs instead. So what a difference time makes just with the technology that we have now to do this incredible work, and Harry continuing the work of his mother. Also, here's some other clips from Ukraine. There's a couple of them flying around, but I thought, let me play some.
Everyone for being here. 10 years since Ukraine to be part of the Invictus community, the Invictus family as we call it. As I said this morning, I'm very relieved that Ukraine has been part of this for so long, rather than trying to
Okay, I hope you got to see that, folks. It's a little bit glitchy on my side. Yeah, Lottie, there are no leaks out of Montecito. Sharon S., you said that you think that Meghan is dropping a clothing line. I think she will drop a clothing line, but I don't think she'll drop it now. I think for now, I think she's just mostly focused on as ever, and like the homeware, homemaking, kitchen. So I do think the clothing line is coming, but I don't think it'll be now, if I'm honest. I think a makeup line could be coming as well. If not, maybe a whole line, perhaps some collaborations. I think some collaborations will be a good way to test. But I mean, do we need to test? we know whenever it drops, it's going to sell out. Okay, so let's listen to some of the words that Harry has been speaking. I read part of his speech out yesterday, but here's an actual clip. Here's the audio. Let's play the audio. I'm not going to play the whole of his speech because I actually have another something from Harry to play, and it's quite a long piece that I want to make commentary on. So here's just a little bit of his speech, though, when he mentions America's part in Ukraine.
The United States has a singular role in this story, not only because of its power, but because when Ukraine gave up nuclear weapons, America was part of the assurance that Ukraine's sovereignty and borders would be respected. This is a moment for American leadership, a moment for America to show that it can honor its international treaty obligations, not out of charity, but out of its own enduring role in global security and strategic stability. The United States has a singular role in this story, not only because of its power, but because when Ukraine gave up nuclear weapons, America was part of the assurance that Ukraine's sovereignty and borders would be respected. This is a moment for American leadership, a moment for America to show that it can honor its international treaty obligations, not out of charity, but out of its own enduring role in global security and strategic stability. The United States has a singular role in this story.
Well said. Now, Trump had a bit of a non-response response to what was said, for once actually watching his damn tongue. But this is what he said when he was asked about Harry.
I know one thing, Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry.
Which, of course, is a ludicrous position for any president.
Oh, wait. I'm gonna play what Trump said, sorry, and then I'm gonna play some critique on what Trump said. My apologies.
Prince Harry today has said that he would like to see you do more to end the war in Ukraine. Do you think it's appropriate for a royal to make those comments ahead of the visit on Monday?
Prince Harry?
Yes, sir.
How's he doing?
Oh, he's in
How's
Ukraine.
his wife? Please give her my regards, okay? No, I don't know. I know one thing, Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry. But I appreciate his advice very much.
Would you have
Great
invited them
advice.
to the
Yeah, utterly ridiculous. You know, the meeting with Charles and Trump is going to be an absolute clown show. There seems to be this weird rhetoric circulating that, you know, Charles doesn't want to go and he's dragging his feet going. I don't believe that one bit. Because that would suggest that Charles has a spine or has any morals about this. So I don't know why this, you know, why they're trying to spin this as, oh, Charles doesn't really want to go. Who's forcing him? There is no known real purpose of Charles going on this trip. None. Other than potentially to get some kind of deal for Andrew. Nothing else will be gained from this. Now, this is someone critiquing what Trump said.
I know one thing, Prince Harry is not speaking for the UK, that's for sure. I think I'm speaking for the UK more than Prince Harry.
Which, of course, is a ludicrous position for any president of the United States to take when referring to any other government. But then we get absolute clarity about the eggshells upon which the King and the Queen will be walking next week when they are here in Washington, D.C. He goes off on the riff about the ballroom, but then manages to take himself immediately to hitting out at the Prime Minister.
I love the UK. I think they made a big mistake on energy. You should open up the North Sea in Aberdeen.
So how all of this is going to be choreographed next week, you know, when the King and the Queen are with him and when they are not with him, and he has access to reporters, including now propagandists in that White House briefing room who are going to ask questions about the president's view of the UK. But even while they're here, there's a tremendous risk that it's going to be open season again.
Do you briefly, do you think he can? Do you actually, I mean, you watch him more closely than most people do. No, he's not capable of doing what you've just described,
Not
is
capable.
he? No.
No, not capable. Not capable of being in a position where he stops transmitting. This is a man who is transmitting 24/7.
I mean, not a lie was told. Yeah, he's transmitting 24/7. And also, let me just sidetrack a little bit so we can laugh at a hater. Transmitting 24/7 and even throwing people under the bus who are his biggest ride or dies. Candace Owens, how do you feel today? How do you feel today, Candace Owens? Trump posted this fake Times cover of Candace Owens with a picture that I actually believe Candace posted herself at one point, like with her lips looking busted and her skin looking all over the place. I don't know why she posted this. I believe she did post this herself on her social media. But he took that, it was superimposed onto this fake Vile Person of the Year Times cover, and Trump posted this. Your own president posting this. The person who you rode for so hard, that you tap dance for so hard, threw your own people under the bus, and for what now? I'm telling you, Candace Owens is going to go crazy. She's married to that weirdo husband that she married after only 8 weeks. I saw the weirdest interview with her husband talking about the beginning of their relationship. It was so weird. He talked about it literally like it was a business arrangement. I've never heard a loving husband talk about their relationship the way I heard Candace Owens' husband talking about hers. Now, this is why you probably don't even see her husband anymore after that interview. It was so weird and embarrassing for Candace. Embarrassing for him too. I don't know what is up with her marriage, but it is a weird one. And then, more recently, she's made it her business to ride or die for that dead podcaster more than that dead podcaster's wife. The dead podcaster's wife is out here at events coming out like a WWE superstar. And Candace is on her podcast talking about she hears the voice of the dead podcaster talking to her. This lady is going to go insane. And now the person that she was riding or dying for, I believe she's no longer a Trump supporter, humiliates her like this. And let me also just say, Candace Owens and many others created a news environment, a rage bait, clickbait environment where anything goes. No responsibility with the platforms and the audience sizes that you've been given. And she has been one of Meghan's worst bullies. Meghan on her mouth, completely unprovoked. I do not for one bit sorry for Candace Owens. She tap danced for Donald Trump. Here he is humiliating her. She has bullied Duchess Meghan over and over again. And she's probably going to go crazy in that crazy marriage of hers. Anywho, Harry said what he said, and he said a little bit more. So let's listen to what he said to ITV. It's quite a long segment, so I'm going to play it in pieces, and then we can discuss in depth. But let me just say thank you to Legs. Thank you for the super chats. 2 of them. You said pics are forever. British royal family tried to hide the guy with the moustache pics. Case Charles and William are weak and can't even defend the UK. Yeah, so Charles is going, this is a very good point, Legs, thank you. Charles is going all the way to the US but can't even defend the UK against what Trump continues to say. This is why I'm saying, what is the point of Charles even going? No backbone. Lisa, you said, as a father, Charles has got to be proud of Harry's people skills. I don't know that he is. I think that when you have a parent who's a narcissist, I don't know if they feel pride for their child like that. If anything, he's probably annoyed that you've got Harry out here being a whole statesman and basically overshadowing Charles. Not on purpose, not out of spite, not because he means to, but just because Harry is a bright star. And that star power could have been used to rub off on the other members of the royal family, including his dad, but they didn't want that. So I don't know if Harry, I think Charles should be proud of Harry. I don't know if he is. I would bet it's more envy than anything else. Lottie, you said, Charles and William could never make me believe they don't miss Harry and Meghan. I don't think they miss Harry and Meghan. I honestly think it's envy. Everything I've seen and continue to see, to me, shows deeply envious family members. Anyway, let's have a listen to what Harry said. It's quite a long clip. I think it's almost 4 minutes long.
You see what's happening here, you see what's happening in Iran. What do you think about the world your children are going to grow up into? The sort of fears that we might be hurtling towards World War III, and I wondered if that is something that worries you.
I think that, look, there's the here and now in Ukraine. You mentioned Iran. I would say it's across the entire Middle East. and huge other parts of the world, Africa. There are conflicts everywhere. There is an immense loss of life and psychological impact that's having on people, civilians, citizens, communities, people who are caught up in all of these conflicts, people who are being specifically targeted in these conflicts. So, you know, the answer to your question, Jerome, I think everybody's scared, everybody's worried for what is potentially around the corner, but also what is happening now. But at the same time, what I'm continually told, what I see is the vast majority of the global population want to see an end to these conflicts, less conversations about war, and more conversations about peace and how we can come to the table and have these conversations. So yes, the future does look bleak, but I think that hopefully, with the way that the world is reacting to the conflicts that are happening, that we can see an end to these sooner rather than later.
Let's talk about your speech yesterday. I mean, I thought it was a significant intervention. I mean, you said you weren't a politician, but you mentioned American leadership, Russian leadership. Now you're no longer a working royal, and heaven knows there's been enough comment about that over the years. Do you feel like emboldened? The shackles are off, free to say things about the world you couldn't say before 2020?
Look, I think the Overton window has shifted somewhat over the last 5 years, and I think that at the same time, it's what would worry me is if we live in a world where anyone in my position or anybody anywhere can't speak about the very things and the realities that we're seeing, and to hold those in leadership positions accountable, but also be able to try to encourage more support where support is needed. So I think there's a lot to be done. As far as shackles, you know, from my perspective, we need to be collectively, as a global community, we need to feel empowered to be able to speak truth to power. It's really that simple. It's bad enough in today's world feeling gagged and saying that you can't say these things and can't say that, and that everything becomes political. I fundamentally disagree with that. What we are witnessing and what we are seeing is a humanitarian catastrophe in multiple.
I think he answered that question very, very well. And that was a very difficult question to answer without saying anything that would cause an obvious eruption. This is indeed a human issue. And, you know, it's interesting over the years, and we've always been told that the royals aren't meant to be political. But the problem with that is that, first and foremost, the royal's entire life is political. So excuse me. And at this point, I don't think we're in a world anymore where you can comfortably take a neutral position, because there's no such thing as a neutral position anymore, I don't think. So I thought Harry answered that very difficult question very well. It'll be interesting to see how the other royals respond to this.
Multiple parts of the world, and people are speaking up, and people will continue to speak up, and I would encourage more people to do the speaking up, because, as I said, the vast majority of people want to see an end to these conflicts and an end to this endless division that is largely being created online.
Harry, do you recognise that phrase, not a working royal? I mean, it strikes me, you're obviously from the royal family, you're here doing a trip, bringing attention to a really important cause that risks being forgotten. Do you recognise that description of you?
No, I will always be part of the royal family, and I'm here working and doing the very thing that I was born to do. And you know, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being able to do these trips and come and support the people that I've met before, the friends that I've made, and hopefully bringing attention to issues that for one reason or another, drop out of the news because something else has popped up. But I'm grateful to all of you guys being here and telling these stories.
I mean, that was a very interesting response, and it was also interesting how Chris framed that question, because he said, he referred to Harry's identity as not a working royal, and then Harry responded by saying, I'm still part of the royal family. And yes, indeed, Harry will always be part of the royal family, even if he was to abdicate. But as someone who's no longer an official working royal, he, under that umbrella, there is the understanding that he's not there on behalf of the royal family and the monarch, but that he is a royal. He still represents the royal family in a way anyway. And it's sad that Harry and Meghan make the royal family look good while not even being working royals. And it just reinforces again what was lost. But do I think the other members of the royal family and the institution deserve to enjoy any of Harry and Meghan's shine? No.
These stories that so desperately need to be told. I understand focus will shift to different places, but ultimately, as I said, what I see, what I hear, and what I learn is that the vast majority of people, whether you're in the UK or whether you're anywhere else in the world, want to see proper leadership, and they want to see an end to these conflicts, whether that's through diplomacy, however we can bring these conflicts to an end, for the sake of everybody now, but also for the future of younger generations coming through.
Do you think any of this is going to have an impact on the big state visit next week?
Any of what?
Any of what you've said here will have an impact on a big state visit?
I don't think so. Not at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Bishop was kind of digging for sound bites there, and why would anything Harry say really impact the trip? If they want to go and do the silly little trip, then let them go and do it. Interesting. Chris Ship had a response. He did a video where, let me just get, sorry folks, my back end is freezing a lot. Just need to get a okay, I'm gonna play Chris Ship's audio, but I'm going to play Chris Ship's audio and then we'll come back. So this is Chris Ship, who, at one point, let's not forget, had some interesting things to say about Harry and Meghan. Chris Ship was never like one of the proper nasty ones, but his nastiness was always hidden behind this false respectability. And I actually think that Harry's team has been very wise to give Chris Ship access, because now he's gonna now he knows that he has to toe the line and behave respectably, or else he's not going to get invited back again. And I'm sure the other royal reporters are seething. Folks, just give me 1 second. I think I have to refresh my page because I can't scroll for some reason. Give me a sec. Oh dear. My images. Okay, this is Chris Ship talking.
And then Halo Trust, we just spoke about it. You're digging mines out of the ground, and Harry's work with that trust will bring in extra money to do that vital work. And yet, when I looked at my Twitter feed at some point this week, it was like, why is Harry in Ukraine and he's not going to see Prince Louis on his 8th birthday? It kind of makes you think, you know, just read what he's doing here and read what's going on here, and let's just remind ourselves that Ukraine's conflict has not finished. We might be focusing on Iran because that is the big news event of the last few months. But people here are still living with the war. And yeah, you're right to say, well, Royal Tour or not Royal Tour, if you're helping Invictus Games and all the injured soldiers here, and you're helping Halo Trust, I mean, why do people got beef with that? I don't understand.
And this is what.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Chris Ship can sit here and say, oh, why do people have beef with that? As if he wasn't part of the culture that partly caused this. You know, and now he's like, oh, why are people talking about, you know, Harry not going to Louis' birthday? Well, it's all of these little petty things that Chris Ship and his colleagues, you know, this is the culture that they created. So I don't know why he's acting so brand new. Why are you acting brand new? I mean, the nickname Chris Taliban Ship didn't come from nowhere. Yeah, Claudia, he's getting a bone, and he'll have to decide whether he chews on it or choke on it. Indeed. What can I say? Lottie said, I can see a bright future for Harry. I don't know what, but he's going to be something big. I mean, I feel like he is already. The present is pretty bright. I mean, how much more big can you get, really? Unless he decides to have his own show. I think that Harry would actually be a good late night show host. I've said that before. He knows how to talk to people. People embrace him warmly. You can get tips from Oprah. Hey, Rahini, you said, you know, with all the talk about Harry not being a working royal, I wonder why they never asked who exactly do the working royals do to that is positive or valuable indeed. Benjamin, hey Benjamin, he said, it does sound like something his mother would say, rather the same diplomatic middle-of-the-road approach. Yes. Sam, you said, never saw shit before this week and didn't like him. He threw in snark unnecessarily. Yeah. Indeed. Yes, Sharon. He lost his credibility with the whole Taliban move. Like, really out here playing the violin for the Taliban. When Harry talked about his time there and serving in Afghanistan. Please. All right, next thing. Next thing is, okay, we talked about that. Ooh. Oh yeah, some other pictures from Ukraine actually I didn't show you all. Here is Prince Harry with Admiral Giuseppe Cavo Dragon, chair of the NATO Military Committee. And he said his dedication to wounded, injured, and servicemen and women is truly inspiring, he said of Harry. And also him, look at this picture right here, it's powerful. Squaddy I Am Sage said, you will never ever see Prince William sitting in a room like this unless he's forced to or forced himself onto them. He is never invited into these spaces because no one respects him as a man, thought leader, humanitarian, or statesman. Prince William is a perfect example of a man who was and is a failure to launch. And he's meant to be the future king. This is why, you know, earlier you were saying, one of you, oh, I bet William and Kate actually miss Meghan and Harry. No, I don't think they do. I think it's envy. is not really missing is envy. But incredible diplomacy being showed by Harry. And I just wanted to read this from a friend of the squad who posted this on her blog. This is from unpacked4.wordpress.com by JP Canabo. And she wrote rather eloquently, when Prince Harry arrived in Ukraine, the visit felt like the behaviour of someone quietly stepping into a role of a statesman, without the title, without the office, and without the formal power. It was a self-directed trip into a war zone, timed at a moment when global attention is drifting and Ukraine is fighting to remain visible. He addressed the Kyiv Security Forum, urging the world to not lose sight of Ukraine and calling for continued leadership and commitment, including from the United States. Harry occupies a strange constitutional gap. He has no diplomatic mandate, no official portfolio, and no governmental authority. Yet he speaks on security, veterans, trauma, and international responsibility with fluency that increasingly resembles public leadership. In modern politics, legitimacy is often assumed to flow from institutions. Harry complicates that assumption. He is building legitimacy from lived experience, relationships, and persistence indeed. I mean, you can see the respect that he has from all of the diplomats in that room. And that respect comes from the efforts that Invictus puts forward, the impact that Invictus creates. The last part is important. Power without office is one of the oldest forms of leadership, and Harry is beginning to look comfortable in it. Harry's adult life has been shaped by two powerful forces, military service and grief. His decade in the British Army gave him a structured identity, built on service, teamwork, and shared leadership. Oh, give me a sec, folks. The death of his mother, Princess Diana, shaped his public understanding of trauma, media attention, and compassion. These two forces, service and grief, seem to sit underneath almost everything he does now. Ukraine is where those threads meet. Harry has repeatedly placed himself alongside military communities and people living with trauma, and his trips are always rooted in long-term projects and relationships. Wounded veterans through the Invictus Games and mine clearance through the Halo Trust. Leadership is often misunderstood as authority. Aha! This is what William doesn't understand. But many leadership scholars describe it as a meaning-making. Oh, I love that. Meaning-making. I love that term. Helping people understand why something matters and why they should keep caring. By that definition, Harry is very much a leader. And you don't have to be in office or have official power to be a leader or to create impact. Psychologists often talk about post-traumatic growth, the idea that people who experience trauma sometimes develop a strong drive to create meaning. Oh, agree with that. Help others or prevent similar suffering. Harry's focus on veterans' trauma and recovery fits this pattern closely. Ukraine isn't a political destination for him. It's a place where his personal narrative aligns with his public work. And that is the beautiful balance that actually Harry has. Because of his work with Invictus Games, is because of his experience on the front line, he understands what his comrades are going through and he wants to do something to help. And that is something that William does not have. And William struggles with. William can show up with a briefcase, cosplaying a statesman, because as far as he's concerned, he's going to be the future king and he's the current heir. So by default, he feels that he should be seen and treated and given the red carpet like a statesman. But we're in a new era now. It's not just about the title you have, current heir, future king. It's about the impact that you create. So you don't need that title of future king. You don't need that crown. And so Harry's simple lived experience is more powerful than a title. And so William can yell, strip the titles all he wants. There was yet another article this week about, William is going to strip them titles. Strip them. Now, I wanted to actually just comment on Charles and Trump's upcoming trip and what we could see while Charles is away. Brilliant article from Celeb Bitchy titled Prince William will convene key figures next week as he plans his reign. Listen, William been planning his reign for some time. That much has been obvious. Briefing to the press that his father's about to hit the rocks. Anyway, King Charles and Camilla will travel to the US for their big state visit next week. I believe it's going to be a disaster. It's likely that Buckingham Palace will declare the state visit a success if Charles and Camilla get through it without any major protests or international incidences. Well, it looks like Charles has one more thing to worry about next week. His heir is plotting a lazy coup. According to Rob Shutter's Substack, William will spend all of next week in secret meetings. Plotting his reign, sure. I don't doubt that William is plotting. What I doubt is that William can force himself out of bed before 1 p.m. for any kind of meeting. Not to mention meetings on consecutive days, indeed. As Charles heads to the United States... oh dear. I didn't realize my phone was about to go off. But basically what the article was saying was that William could use this opportunity to start plotting and scheming. Plotting and scheming William. I mean, it's not difficult to believe. He had Channel 5 out here having a whole fake announcement of Charles's passing. Would you believe it? I believe it. Plotting and scheming William. Macbethian William. Okay, I'm going to read your comments before I get on to the last story. Let's have a look. Benjamin, you said, why is the onus always being put on Harry? Why don't they ask the other royals when they're going to Montecito? Because they know they're not going to go there. They want to put Harry in an awkward position. Rahini, you said, I think Harry has a future as a voice actor. I think there's many things that Harry could do. Voice actor is a good one. Yeah, I think it'd be great as a late night show host. Isn't James Corden finished? Helen, you said it'll be interesting to see if Chris Ship gets the Invictus gift. I think that they will keep Chris Ship around. Chris Ship knows that ungodly family is irrelevant, uninteresting, uninspiring, unrelatable. He knows that the monarchy is a sinking vessel. Indeed. So now he's behaving. Benjamin, you said, I believe Kate secretly realizes she married the wrong brother, but her mama wanted that queen wrong for her. I think if she had stood a chance with Harry, she would have gone for Harry, but she's not Harry's type. Harry always dated either intelligent women or like quirky women with their own mind. He would never have gone for a Kate. Yeah, Benjamin, why does Charles want to be seen with the orange man? He said, Trump is going to sleep on Charles and Camilla. He'll sleep on them. He may even poop on them. From what I hear, he wears a diaper. Okay, last story of the day. Rahini, you said, I was hoping for a Harry-led version of Archetypes, but from a man's perspective. Archetypes blew anyone. Yeah, I think that Harry doing a podcast would be good. Talking to positive and uplifting male role models. Now, last story of the day. Apparently, Pippa Middleton is peeving off her neighbours, which she's been peeving them off for a while. And they are tired. Tired of her shenanigans. So let's have a read of this. So Pippa Middleton's neighbours are calling her arrogant, cruel and nouveau riche. About 4 years ago, Pippa Middleton and her terribly moderately wealthy husband James Matthews decamped from London and moved full-time to the country estate they purchased. The estate is called Barton Court and it includes 145 acres and a 32-room mansion. Pippa and James have not integrated themselves into their community village whatsoever. Soon after moving in, they shut down a popular walking path, which may or may not be part of their private property. They've also thrown loud parties which disturb their neighbours, but the footpath issue has become the biggest problem for the village, with Pippa and James posting tons of no trespassing signs and even building huge gates across what had been a public use path for decades. Next month, Pippa and James's lawyers will argue that they have every right to keep people off their land, but the Ramblers Association have lawyers too. This issue has become the simmering issue of Kintbury. The way I don't even know where that is. I love the name though, Kintbury. And even the Telegraph felt the need to interview Pippa and James's neighbours about it. Oh dear. The object of dispute, a 400-metre track, private driveway or public footpath, depending on who's speaking, and firmly locked gate. Matthews and Middleton believe the track, which leads to their second graded listed manor, to the busy main station road running from the village en route, interconnecting with a public footpath, is their driveway. They installed lock gates at its entrance in September 2022 after they moved in, which appalled ramblers and villagers. They argue that the path used by public for over 2 decades is an official form of public right-of-way in 2024. Well, you know, if this was part of the estate agreement, annoying as it is, I think Pippa and her husband could win with this one. They even got West Berkshire's District Council's agreement that the path should be recorded on the definitive map and statement of public rights of way, subject to any objection or representation, only for Matthews and Middleton to appeal. I mean, this all depends on, I guess, what was on the estate agreement when they bought it, and what the holders of the land, you know, the estate agent had rights to in the first place. So if they didn't have any rights to it, well, Pippa and her husband don't have a case. But if they did, well, perhaps they do. Okay, so people are saying, you know, some of the people in the village are saying they're sympathetic to the security needs. And, you know, there are some crazy people out there. But I feel like for the local community, if it's something that they use and, you know, if it's going to inconvenience them, perhaps they should have been sought on Pippa Middleton and her husband's side to, you know, get a property somewhere else. So, the neighbours are angry, calling her arrogant. It reminds me of when Party Pieces went belly up in 2023, and suddenly all of these local businesses in Berkshire were like, Carol Middleton effing sucks. She never paid for this or that. My guess is that Carol and Pippa's neighbours despise them, but few people say anything because they're scared of the power the Middletons wield because of their royal connections. It's also a reminder that the Middletons are wannabe aristocrats, but their behaviour reveals who they actually are every single time. Tacky grifters who got lucky. Is there anything else to say? Thank you so much, folks, for listening in. Appreciate you very, very much. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button on your way out. And if you want to donate, link in the chat. I'm still feeling so fed and so blessed from the week that Harry and Meghan were in Australia and what they gave us, what they gave others as well. And with that, I'm gonna go to sleep because I'm falling asleep. It's so late here. It's coming to 2 a.m. Lottie, you said, and that's so true. Harry sleep with many women, but won't marry any one of them. That's why he had a list. They wasn't qualified. Well, you know, some of those women he was with for a while. So not to dog on those women. But they just weren't the one. Meghan was. She had everything on the list. And she stopped the conveyor belt. All right, folks. Good night. We'll catch up tomorrow. Ciao.